Hey, I'm so happy that you're here, especially since this is a different time than usual. I'm traveling tomorrow for a coaching retreat, so I wanted to make sure that I still shared something with you today instead because I'll be traveling tomorrow. And the second thing is I missed last week, and I don't have an excuse other than I was completely overwhelmed that day. And guess what I found out? The world did not fall apart because I didn't do Facebook Live. And I got everything checked off of my to-do list, which I thought was pretty awesome. So it's kind of like a win-win. Um, and a funny thing, it was funny because the minute that I decided not to do Facebook Live that morning, I felt this huge sense of relief and I was able to power through for the rest of the day. Um, and I tell you that because although I talk a lot about consistency and how important it is to show up and so that your audience knows what to expect, and just so that you're consistent and in the habit, it's also super important to listen to your body and your mind and what they need. And if it's to skip a day on social media and not do your scheduled Facebook Live, then do that. It's okay. The world will not fall apart. And if you, I know there's several times I've felt that way before. So if you've ever felt like that you need to take a break from social media, because I know we all feel like that at some point in our journey, just let me know in the comments. I'd love to respond to you, love to chat with you, love to hear how you overcome that. So, but anyway, now I'm here, super excited to share this really sexy topic with you. And as a side note, what do you guys think of the word sexy? I'm not a fan of the word juicy, so I've been trying to find something else to use. And I know that's totally off topic, but if you guys have another word, please let me know because I know that's super important, but I need to find a new word for my vernacular. Anyway, I digress. So what I want to chat with you today about was content on your website. So do you have a lot of content on your website? Maybe you've been blogging for a while and it's just sitting there, and you just don't want to create anything new because you already have 12 million blog posts and you don't know what to do with them. And they're just sitting there. And what's the point of creating new content, right? Or maybe you're thinking that you're trying to get ahead of the SEO game. And to do that, you have to continually churn out new content so that your customers are satisfied and people are consistently seeing new things from you. But let's be honest, that just gets overwhelming, right? At times. And it can be a lot. Just like last week when I got too overwhelmed with Facebook Live. Either way, both of those things are important, but I'm going to talk about those today and give you some tips to overcome that. And if you would like the show notes for this video, just comment revive into, oh, whoops, that's the wrong thing. I was going to show you the comment revive. I don't know what happened. Let's try this. There we go. Comment revive in the comments, and I will get the show notes sent to you as soon as I'm done with this broadcast. So anyway, I'm Christy Hansvik of Simply Online. We take you from invisible to visible in 30 minutes a week or less, and we strategically share your content on multiple platforms so that you can get the most visibility and people are just running to work with you because who doesn't want that, right? So did you know that with an effective content repurposing strategy, you can actually avoid the hassle of having to generate new content week in, week out, and you can actually reuse the stuff that you've already had. Obviously, I'm super passionate about that, and so that's why I talk about it a lot. But the idea of reviving old pieces of content might seem a little bit far-fetched. Some people might even think it's cheating, but when you think about it, it actually makes a lot of sense. There are probably dozens of old relevant articles or videos sitting on your blog archive on your website, waiting to be brought up to date for this new year. All you need to do is find them, brush off the dust, add in some relevant information for your ideal client, and you're good to go. So it's a lot easier than creating something from scratch but your customers and Google will reward you all at the same time. So it's actually a win-win. So the only question left is, how do you do it? So today I'm going to share with you my best kept secrets of how to revive your old content. And hi, Lara. I'm so excited to see you tomorrow and meet you, and I just can't even wait. Okay, first thing, bring your old posts up to date. So let's say that you wrote an article 5 years ago about, I don't know, the essentials of, I can't think on the fly on Sunday nights, apparently. The essentials of good small business for local SEO. So if you wrote it 5 years ago, obviously a lot of things have changed with the SEO in the last 5 years, right? There's probably some things that have changed the same, but there's probably some things that have also that have changed and that you can update the piece. So if the article you wrote back then got some good traction, it's a great candidate for a refresh. So you could just quickly touch up the stuff that hasn't changed, adjust the parts that have, include the latest up-to-date information, latest statistics, new algorithm information, whatever that is in relation to the article that you're writing. Just update a few things, and then you have a new blog post. So a good example of this, I have a client that has a post about ceiling fans. She wrote it, I don't know, it's probably been 7 or 8 years now, but every single time we share it, the traffic on her website quadruples. No joke. It's crazy, crazy cool. So we periodically reshare that blog post throughout the year, but we do a couple of changes to it. So she's an Amazon affiliate. So the first thing that we do is we always list different types of fans on Amazon than we did the last time. So there's different affiliate links there. We also update the statistics in the article and then occasionally change a sentence or two with updated information. So it takes us just a couple of minutes to update that every few months, but it's super effective and drives a ton of traffic to her website, which I think is really, really cool. So second thing, clearly I don't know how to work this part. Develop your posts further. There we go. So in the past, it was really common to publish blog posts that were less than 1,000 words. But in today's content saturated market, shorter pieces are actually sometimes they're less effective than the longer blog posts. So because of that, now you can take those old blog posts that were shorter form and just make them longer. So you can just add in some new content, just like we talked about before. You can change some statistics, add in some new sentences. But that makes it super easy as well. So instead of starting from scratch, you're going to dive into your archives, look for some of those shorter content pieces, and just develop them a little bit further. Super easy. It really is an easy way just to already have a topic and just to expand on it. Especially if you wrote it a few years ago, you probably know a lot more about that topic now than you did a while ago, or back then when you wrote it. So, okay, number 3, turn your old blog posts into new formats. So this is something that I talk about obviously all the time because I love repurposing content. But blog posts or even video, that's not the only way to communicate with your client. So people prefer, the biggest reason you should have different types of content with the same subject is because people prefer different types of content. Some like to read, some like to listen to audio, some like video, some people just like the highlights and a cute little graphic. Whatever that format is for your audience, just take something that you've written previously and convert it into one of those types of content. So for example, we have another client that she has tons and tons of blog posts. She wanted to create a podcast. So what we had her do was go back and record. She just read her blog posts in an audio file and sent it to us. We added the beginning, the end, some music, like just some title slides, whatnot, and then we had a podcast for her. And we've been slowly uploading those audio files every week. So she actually has a podcast, and she didn't do anything new but record copies, record her reading the blog post. So that's something else that a lot of people don't think of is you think that it always has to go from video to written, but it really can go from written to audio or even written to video as well. But do some testing with your audience. See what they like. See what works for them. See, you might get more traffic if you're using something different. So, okay, number 4. This one is something that people really don't even think about, but correct your spelling and your grammar errors. Believe it or not, people notice. They really do. And I just had I was writing a newsletter tonight for a client and was not paying attention to my grammar and made a lot of mistakes, and she noticed. And that's not only embarrassing for me, but if I had sent it out to her audience, that would have been embarrassing for her. So look at your spelling and your grammar errors and your readability issues. If you make those updates as well, that counts as repurposing it or re-releasing it, and so that it's going to appear differently online. So take a look at your content history. If you have any blogs or even videos that have some errors, just rework it and republish it. Then you have another piece of content that you really didn't have to spend a ton of time with. The 5th one is expand on your past posts with follow-ups. So one of the goals of content creation is to increase the time that a user spends on your website or on your post. So the longer a user spends on your pages, the more Google and other search engines are going to reward you in the search rankings. So one of the ways is to increase the amount of time, it's called the dwell time, that someone is staying on your post or reading your post. So how do you do that? Super easy. Towards the end of your post, or maybe somewhere in the middle, wherever you feel like it's appropriate, insert a quick linking sentence that's an internal link to another article that is also related to this one. So a portion of your readers are going to click on that extra link and then go to another page on your website, which is going to increase that dwell time. So just by adding another link to another article on your website is going to increase that. So that's another way you can repurpose. The very last one that I wanted to share is create roundup posts, which I'm not sure how many of you are familiar with those, but these are super helpful if you're a product-based company. So a roundup post is basically a compilation of expert answers to a single question. So it's often like if you see like forums or where people are asking a question and then a lot of people give answers. That's nice to have when you have a product-based business, because it's a nice way to get your readers a lot of opinions in one place. So you could do like product reviews. It's super valuable if you have a lot of product reviews. So your post is going to bring in traffic because the people that you're sharing the review of, they're also going to share your page. So you're going to get extra eyeballs on that way as well. So it's easy to update those posts with your product, if you have products, with new opinions or new reviews. And you should be collecting those as you go anyway. So just adding them to your blog post is just going to, it's another way to repurpose that post. So, okay, that was it. Do you feel more confident about reviving your posts? I really hope so. I know I'm kind of scattered today because it's Sunday night and I'm packing and it's been a long day and I'm not used to doing this at night. But I can promise you that implementing some of these ideas into your strategy will save you time on your content creation every month. So again, if you want the show notes from today's video, comment revive and I'll get them sent to you as soon as I can. So, alrighty, friends, let's review. So, did you know that we've been talking about having an effective content repurposing strategy, you can avoid the hassle of having to generate new content week in and week out, and you can reuse the stuff that you've already created. I know sometimes it may seem like recreating things or reusing them can be a little bit far-fetched, but when you think about it, it actually makes a lot of sense. So most people have content on their website that's just sitting there waiting to be reused. So I'm going to give you some ideas of how you can revive it and reuse it, so you're not spending a ton of time recreating all your content. So again, the very first one is to bring your old blog posts up to date. So go back through those posts that you've written and update them. So let's say 5 years ago, you wrote an article about the essentials of self-care. Since you wrote that piece, I can guarantee you that some things have changed with that. And there's also some things that have stayed the same. Self-care has kind of been a topic of conversation in the last several years. So I'm sure there's a lot of new information, a lot of new statistics. So you can go through the article you wrote 5 years ago and quickly touch up some of the stuff that hasn't changed, and then adjust the parts that have changed by including some latest information and statistics on why it's important. So the second one is to develop your posts further. So it used to be that shorter pieces were better, but now it's getting to be that longer pieces are better because people want to learn more. So instead of starting from scratch, just look into your archives for some of the shorter content that people could benefit from developing longer. You've already got the basics written. You can just expand on it and add to it. And that's a super easy way to revive some of your old content. So the third way is to turn old blog posts into new formats. Oh, and there's Molly. I'm so excited to meet you tomorrow too. I'm like, can't even wait. Probably won't even sleep tonight because I'm so excited to get on a plane. Part of that is because I'm really excited to have some time by myself away from children. Don't tell my husband I said that. Anyway, okay, third way, turn your blog post into a different format. So people prefer all types of content. Some like to read, some like to listen, some like just the highlights. I personally prefer to listen to things. And then if I really liked the topic, I go and research it and read some more. So, but this suggestion is super simple. Convert your existing written content into a different format. Could be a podcast, a video, an infographic. You could create a photo gallery. There's a million ways you could do that. The fourth one is kind of random, but correct your spelling and grammar errors. I can almost guarantee you that they are in there. When I go back through mine, I almost always find spelling or grammar errors. Sometimes because I get so tired of just rereading things that you miss them. So that's a great way to revive your old content too, is just look for the simple little errors and fix them and re-release it. The fifth way is to expand on your past posts. So this one kind of ties into the other one, but this one is more focused on getting the user to increase the time spent on your page. So an easy way to do that is to make an internal link within your blog post to something else on your website. If someone's super interested in the topic, they're going to click on the link and want to read further. So if you have blog articles that are linked or about the same topic, then just add some extra links in there, and that's another great way to revive it. The very last one is to create a roundup post. So this one is super helpful if you are a product-based company. It's just a compilation of expert answers to a single question. So these are nice because you can round up reviews or articles that other people have written about a specific product you have and just keep that post updated with recent information. The great thing about that is if you are adding somebody's review or opinion to your page, they're more likely to share it on theirs as well because they want the traction on their site. So that's a good way to like help cross promote things. So that is it. I hope you learned a thing or two about how to revive your content so that it doesn't have to be such a big, huge deal when you are when you already have a lot and you're trying to make a content plan for the month. So I am Christy Hansbeck of Simply Online. We take you from invisible to visible in 30 minutes a week or less. We strategically share your content on multiple platforms so that you can get the most visibility and people are just dying to work with you. And again, if you want the show notes from today's video, comment revive and I will send you the show notes so that you can have that. And again, I'm traveling tomorrow, so I'm not doing Facebook Live tomorrow, but I will be live the next Monday at 1 o'clock Mountain Time. And I hope you'll join me because I'm going to have had a whole week of learning and meeting people, and I'm probably sure I'm going to have lots and lots of information to share. So again, thanks for joining me. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Bye.